99 bottles of beer on the wall, 99 bottles of beer or wine. This is a delicious Marquette made and bottled by a friend of mine. From right here in Illinois, of all things, good wine from Illinois. Question I got enough that I decided to film this little video. Hey, I'm armed, out to dinner with my wife. We're not getting drunk, but we're gonna have a drink or two. Going to a nice sit-down dinner. We're gonna go meet a couple friends for a drink before we go to a movie or go to a concert. Should I be armed? Can I be armed? Is it lawful to be armed while enjoying an adult beverage? Well, we gotta talk about a few things there. One, you gotta talk about state, local, and federal law. Two, you've gotta talk about any laws pertaining to establishments in your state. Does that establishment have the right in your locale to limit access to you as a firearms carrier if you're drinking? Three, we gotta talk about a little physiology. We gotta talk about how our body processes, consumes, and eventually expels alcohol. And then we gotta talk about some good old-fashioned common sense here, okay? So let's start out with law. Many states, and you should check this where you live, have laws that very much take the verbiage right out of the traffic code for driving while under the influence. Basically, what the lawmakers, and I agree with it, what they were thinking is, if you would get a DUI or a DWI, whatever your state calls it, if you would be issued a citation for driving under the influence based on your level of alcohol consumption or blood alcohol level, if you'd be issued a citation for driving, you probably shouldn't be having a gun on you. And in some states, it becomes a crime if you're armed while drunk. Oh, it's my right to have a gun. Well, we the people say that if you're going to go out in public and we the people are going to issue you a permit or a license to conceal a weapon in the public, we the people don't think you should be drunk. You see, we got to remember that freedom is not for everyone. What do I mean by that? Well, some people can't handle it. That's why people get caught driving drunk. They can't handle the freedom of alcohol and vehicles and roadways. So they do stupid things. If you shouldn't be driving, you probably shouldn't be having a gun on you. Let's talk a little bit about the other state laws. My state, for example, if an establishment earns more than 50% of its revenue from alcohol sales, this is just my state, you are not allowed to carry a gun in there. Now, it's not up to you to know the accounting of the restaurant, but the restaurant or bar or whatever the place is needs to somehow post this conspicuously, meaning you got to see it. Not up to you to know that. And those signs in my state of Illinois carry the force of law, meaning that sticker's not just like a whether you feel like it or not. That sticker basically saying it's unlawful for you to enter this establishment. So know the law where you live. I've got a great app on my cell phone that constantly updates with all of these laws. It's in the App Store, just called CCW. It's like $2 or $3. So let's talk a little physiology. So it's a misconception that coffee, caffeine, and the like processes alcohol faster. Most all of the alcohol that you consume is processed by the liver. Some of it is evaporated through respiration, through the breathing process. Basically, you're evaporating dirty alcohol out your mouth. But you got to remember, we're talking about an ounce of alcohol an hour that an average human can process. Men process alcohol a little bit more efficiently than women because we're made up of a little more water. Thus, it's a little more of a dilution for men. But an ounce of alcohol an hour, that's not an ounce of wine, that's an ounce of alcohol. So what's an average drink? Well, 1.5 ounces of 80 proof liquor, about 5 ounces of of wine. So that's a 5 ounce pour of red wine. Of course, this is water, but that's what 5 ounces looks like. If you go up to here, which is a nice healthy pour, you've basically doubled the dosage of alcohol. A 12 ounce average beer, these are, I kind of drink a little bit heavier beers. This one is like, I want to say 5.5%, 6%. Where's it at? Some of them, they don't just give it to you. This one's 5.2%, and this guy I think is 6.7. Delicious beers, but this one is already over that 12 ounce. So this is more than that 1.5 ounces. Now, I don't want to confuse you. We process about 1 ounce an hour on average. A 5-ounce pour of like red wine, like a Pinot Noir, like I have here, this delicious Signal Ridge. This is from California. I love a good Northern Cali red wine. And then about 12 ounces of a medium grade beer. It takes you an hour to process that. So if you go to the bar and you have 3 beers in an hour, which isn't unheard of, you've got a blood alcohol level that would put you way over the legal limit. That's just 3 beers in an hour. The other thing about that is this: alcohol reduces inhibition. It stops you from thinking, you know what, probably shouldn't do that. That's one of its side effects of the drug. It's a drug, right, of alcohol. It's one of the side effects of it on our brain. It reduces inhibition. This is why dudes get in fights. They weren't thinking. It doesn't make them do it, but it removes that part of the brain that says, you know what, I should walk away. This is why people end up having one-night stands. Man, I got to liquor up. Next thing you know, I was in the bed with this girl I didn't even know. Can't blame it on the alcohol. It just removed the inhibition. Our job as somebody that's out in the world armed, just as everybody else's job is to go home safe. Our job, though, is not to intervene in everything and anything. So if you all of a sudden have lost that little bit of a safety valve that tells you walk away, don't instigate, move away, that's a problem. This is why one of our hashtags is know thyself. Not my phrase, but what does it mean to know yourself? It means to know. It means to know not only how much booze you can drink and still be in control, but it means what are triggers for me? When is it good for me to walk away? When is it good for me to smile and wave or tell the guy, hey man, take the parking space? Know thyself. Know yourself. To the question of should you be drinking while armed? The answer is it depends, like many things. What's the context? If you shouldn't be driving, shouldn't be operating a motor vehicle, if you wouldn't do it with your kids, maybe you shouldn't do it with a gun on you. You get my point? So be responsible, be safe, and understand that liberty and freedom are not for everybody. What I mean by that is we all are guaranteed this right to freedom here in this country, but freedom doesn't mean you get drunk and do stupid things. Freedom doesn't mean you get behind the wheel of a car drunk and hurt people. Freedom doesn't mean that you do whatever you want. Freedom means that you choose to live in a manner that you wish to without treading on the rights of others. So if having a couple drinks while armed puts you in a situation where you are now making the public at large unsafe, or your actions may not be the best course, if you wouldn't do it sober, maybe you should leave that gun at home. Maybe you should call an Uber. Maybe you should stay at home and drink beer in the basement alone with the lights off, listening to vinyl records while a slow tear rolls down your face, remembering the good old days. Last part was a little weird, maybe some truth to it. Mickey with CarryTrainer.com. Think about what you're doing. Be safe. Enjoy freedom responsibly. Be well.
Afternoon, sir. You have a driver's license insurance?
I do. I got it right here.
Hey, listen, this is how it works, bud. I talk, you listen, okay? I'm the police. Where's your gun?
It's in a holster in the front of my body here.
In front of your, oh, we're going with the legal speak now, huh? All right, all I need you to do, keep your hands poked straight up at the sky and step out of the vehicle.
My seatbelt's on.
I need you to take that seatbelt off.
Okay.